Welcome to the Inaugural International Conference on the Deficiency of DADA2. My name is Chip Chambers. I'm a surgeon. I'm a clinical assistant professor of surgery at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. I do know that I'm the only surgeon here in the room today. If there's a surgical emergency, we're covered. But I'm also the founder and president of the recently formed DADA2 Foundation, which we're all here today to talk about. Just to help sort of frame it for us, to sort of keep it in reference for us, upstairs there's a second meeting occurring. There's 69 patients and families from 6 countries who are meeting upstairs in their own meeting. But at the end of the day, they will be in here with us. Children, patients, families, everyone. And we'll sort of summarize the events of the day. But I think maybe as we go throughout this day and as we talk about science and the advancements of science, I think if we keep centered that that's why we're really all here today, that'll sort of make this a really great day. How did we get here today? What was the genesis that got us here today? So in 2014, a small group of us met at a restaurant in Houston during the Clinical Immunology Society meeting. And we were there, at my request, to really talk about what's going on here today. How could we do this? How could we cross-collaborate between specialties and industry? And so the genesis was born in that little meeting in Houston, Texas. And then we talked to our colleagues at the National Human Genomic Research Institute, and they were on board, and thus the DADA2 Foundation was formed. And then here we are all here today. So if we look at this conference, and let's just take a second just to wrap our head around it a minute. The DADA2 conference by the numbers. So we have 144 scientific meeting attendees. 136 of those are physicians and scientists from around the world. We have 76 MDs, 28 MD PhDs, 2 DOs, 25 PhDs, 1 NP, 2 PharmDs, and 2 RNs, and I'm thrilled to say that this week a dentist was added to that list. We have 39 physicians and scientists from the National Institutes of Health, representing 11 of the 27 institutes at the NIH. We have 91 U.S. physicians and scientists and 45 international physicians and scientists, representing 26 specialties. So you're not going to your typical rheumatology, immunology, hem-onc meeting. You're here with colleagues that you don't know, as a doctor just told me, and that's actually intentional. There are 71 institutions worldwide represented from 16 countries, 59 worldwide cities, and 23 U.S. states. But as I said earlier, the most important thing is that there are 69 patients and family members from 6 countries here today. So I sent out a survey. Now, doctors aren't used to filling out surveys, and if you're like me as a doctor, every time you get a survey, you don't want to do it. But I think this is one of the new paradigms that we're going to be setting here. Have you heard Dr. Friss talk about the internet? I think we have to start thinking out of the box just a little bit. So one question that everyone asked was, how many DADA2 patients in the world are there? And of course, the answer is, no one knows. They only know their cohort, right? So we sent out a little survey, very non-scientific, right? But we sent out a survey just to see what we could find out. So here's what we got. We got 32 responses from 10 countries, from 28 institutions. And what that yielded was a total of 158 DADA2 patients. Now I have to tell you, just to show you the power of this, we just added a physician onto the meeting from the National Institutes of Health this week. And Wakako Eklund, who is in the back of the room back there, who's our photographer, is also a world-renowned lecturer in the world of NICU care across the world. And she asked me a simple question. She said, is anybody from Japan coming? And then I said, well, no. I said, we don't know if there are any DADA2 patients in Japan. And when I told her that the Japanese physician was coming from the NIH, she sent him an email. And then they sent an email to Japan, to their network. So in the last 48 hours, we now know there are 4 DADA2 patients in Kyoto, Japan. So just to show you the power of something like this, because we need the patients in order to conduct the studies in order to find a cure.